Welcome to What's the Story Dublin, the official Dublin City Council podcast with me, your host, Deirdre Malumbi. This podcast deep dives into the work of all the moving parts that make up Dublin City Council. It also shares news of the Council's latest initiatives and exciting events. In today's episode, we're looking at Christmas in Dublin City. I am joined today by Tony Smithers, who is Head of Events and Filming Unit at Dublin City Council. Tony, you're very welcome to What's the Story Dublin.
Thanks, Deirdre, and thank you for the invite here today.
Of course, and it's a lovely podcast episode. We're going to be talking about all things Christmas, so it's just going to be a lovely twinkly themed episode. But I was wondering, Tony, if first of all, could you start by telling us a little bit about your role as Head of Events and Filming Unit in Dublin City Council and what it actually entails?
So, thanks, Deirdre. Yes, so I head up the events section and the filming section for Dublin City Council. So, our section will manage, third-party applications for events in the city and in the public domain. And also, we produce and programme our own family-friendly events and festivals for Dublin City. As part of that, our mission, is to, activate, public spaces through the delivery of inclusive, safe and accessible events that reflect the city's diversity, and we foster community cohesion. And obviously a city where everyone feels welcome, and everyone feels welcome to gather, celebrate and experience the joy of community, culture and events. So, we work through so we have our corporate plan for 2025 to 2028, and obviously it's clean, green, safe, livable, vibrant, accessible. And they're all the things that we try to do to activate Dublin City in our events section.
Brilliant. And yeah, like you said there, it's really important to emphasise that it's both the events that we organise within Dublin City Council and then external events, they come and apply to you as well. So it's both.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. And so, I'll give you a little flavour of 2025, and I know we're going to get all things into Twinkle here soon on Christmas, but we'd collaborate around St. Patrick's Festival. We'd have a sensory space there, a quiet space for people to come and enjoy the parade. We'd have, for the first year last year, we had our treasure hunt again. So the Dublin City Council treasure hunt in the city. And again, a new event last year was the Dublin City Half Marathon, which was ours and which we collaborated on. Luke Kelly, Sensori, which we're very proud of in the city, which is neurodiverse, and we work very closely with As I Am and produce that. And next year we're going to expand that event north side and south side. So we're always looking, to expand events, bring it to the next level. We have our Liffey Swim, it's an iconic event, one Liffey Swim again this year. We're working then, and obviously, college football, our Dublin City Flag, which we're trying to expand next year, and look eventually and hopefully have the conversation with key stakeholders on maybe at some stage into the future bringing the national flag back to the city of Dublin. So there are lots of collaborations. We're a small team, but we're a very busy team.
Absolutely. It's been a very busy year and the year isn't over yet. And Tony, can you tell us a bit about the career path that led to your current role as well? I'm sure people will be interested to hear about that.
Yeah, so I'm only in Dublin City Council coming up to 20 years. Before that, I worked very closely in the community. I worked in the local community. I worked for a political party, and I became a political activist then in my younger days. I eventually then, believe it or not, I got elected as a Dublin City Councillor in 2004, representing Ballyfermot, Chapel Lizard, Bluebell area. And I worked as a city councillor up to 2007. I gave the seat back to the party, and then I came to work for Dublin City. I gave the seat back in June, and I started my career in Dublin City Council in the August of 2007. And my first place I ended up was St. Michael's Estate in housing. My very first boss was Sarah Birmingham. She was a great boss for me, as in taught me a lot and showed me the way, because it was all new to me coming into that side of the house from one side to the other. So that was my career path. When I was working as a councillor, I was spokesperson on housing for the party that I was working for. I ended up then in housing in Dublin City Council. Well, I felt I could make good change, and we did. So, some of the great projects that I was involved in was St. Michael's Estate, St. Teresa's Gardens, Dolphin House. So I've been part of all those regeneration projects, and I've led great teams. I've led regeneration teams in those areas, and I led the whole of the South West Inner City housing team there at one stage, covering the whole area myself. Then I ended up, when I finished up then as a senior executive officer, overseeing the estate management for the city and the travel accommodation unit, including all the accommodation in the city that I'm looking after all the traveller community in relation to their needs. So yeah, it's been an interesting journey. And then what I felt then going forward was then, I spent 18 years in that role, to kind of fit a jigsaw puzzle back together. I needed something now to move myself to the next level. So something new and something different, and which events has been completely new and different, and looking at things from a different perspective.
Yeah, it's amazing to hear the variety of roles you were kind of in, from politics to housing, and now you're in events. So to move on to today's episode, just looking at the overall theme of Christmas, what are your own favourite things about Christmas in Dublin City?
I love Christmas. Christmas is so special in this city, and it's a special place to be at Christmas is in the city. And I'll just give you some of the examples. I have 3 daughters. Since they were babies, on a personal note, we used to come into the city. We'd go and see Santa Claus. Yeah. We'd visit Santa, get the family photo. We'd then move on to the mansion house, and we'd have a look at the live crib. We'd get our photographs outside the mansion house, and we'd just go around in general and get the atmosphere, and we'd have something to eat. That was the family thing. That's tradition. My eldest is 24, my youngest is 16, and I have an 18-year-old as well. So we still do it. So they're the memories and the traditions that we hold, and it was a beautiful thing to do, and we still do it. Now, sometimes getting them all together is hard, but we still have picked that one day. Dublin City Council's Dublin Winter Lights is really special. It's been going on since 2018. It's really special for the city. It lights up the city, in areas where, people can come and enjoy parts of the city where we try to bring footfall, maybe parts of the city that people don't usually venture to, but they'll come to see the winter lights and they'll go, oh, wow, I've never been to this part of the city, but it looks fabulous, it's amazing. And, spend a few euro there, have a cup of tea, coffee, and enhance the businesses and the community in that area as well. For me as well, the old shop windows, coming and looking at the shop windows, looking in the shop windows at all the Christmas themes, especially then when you get a little bit older then obviously, but just the nights out, having a night out, your pals, your colleagues or your family, and savouring that atmosphere. And also, let's not forget, if you look up, there's lots of affordable and free events in the city at Christmas. So you don't have to come in and spend a fortune. Come into the city, enjoy the lights, and we'll move on. Like, in Smithfield in TwinkleTown, in partnership with Dublin City Council, we're providing a Santo Panto, as we're calling it, for €5. So there's lots to do, and encourage people to come into the city.
Absolutely. And you've actually kind of touched broadly there on loads of the things we'll be talking about today. Starting with the Dublin City Council Dublin Winter Lights, Tony. These are back this year, like you said. For anyone totally new to them, what are the Winter Lights, and what's kind of the, I suppose, motivation or drive behind them as well?
Yeah, it's a very good question, dear. So since 2019, Dublin City Council, or Dublin Winters, we've got bigger and better each and every year. So it's one of the largest events in Dublin City Council that we organise every year. It's become a familiar favourite for Dubliners, brightening up the city centre and attracting thousands of visitors to the capital during the Christmas period. So this year we've new locations, and with a great team of artists and a light show in Merrion Square Park this year. And undoubtedly, I'm not just saying this, but this will be the best edition of the Dublin City Council Dublin Winter Lights that the city will see this year. To come back to your original question, this is to encourage people to come into the city, enjoy the city. It's free. There's no cost to this. Come in and enjoy the city. Have a look at the lights. Also then, if you come into the city, there's other add-ons that you can go to and enjoy the city. So that's the reason we light up the city. Come in, it's free. And Dublin City Council are very much at the core of that. I'm producing those events for people. It's affordable. Come in, it's free, and enjoy our city and make new memories in the city. It's very important for families, people, couples, singles. Come into the city, enjoy, and make a new memory.
Absolutely. And we'll kind of get into how all of these different events are kind of almost linked to each other this year, which I think has been really great, for families visiting the city, or friends, or, tourists or whoever. Can you tell us a bit about the work that happens behind the scenes to actually make the Dublin City Council Dublin Winter Lights happen? Because I'm sure that there's a huge amount of labour behind that.
It's a very intensive piece of work. So there's a lot of collaboration goes on. There's a lot of meetings with key stakeholders. There's a lot of meetings trying to get people involved, looking at new ideas. Because you don't want to keep going with the same ideas all the time. You need to have new ideas. So we're being creative. We'll have chats with, key stakeholders, Eventco, who's our company that produces this contract for us. So that's the type of work that I was in. So it's several months with the contractors, dealing with lots of internal and external stakeholders. Property owners is very important that they give us permission to, project onto their buildings, map the buildings. So there's a lot of stuff goes into that. This year, particularly the GPO, the theme for the GPO was liberation. So we had an open call out to artists for, that theme. We had 55 artists come back, and we selected 8 artists on that theme of liberation. And the theme behind that was Daniel O'Connell's 250th anniversary. His statue sits on O'Connell Street, and he was known as the Liberator. So that's the connection there on the GPO site this year.
And how does it work in terms of the actual setup of the lights? Like, how long does that take? Who's usually behind it?
So it depends on the actual site. You could take one projector, 2 projector. It could be just a GoPro projection where it's just static, or we'd have video mapping. So that's longer. So the setup takes maybe several weeks to get it right, and obviously putting the infrastructure in, building the infrastructure, having all the health and safety and the risk assessments done, and then projecting on the building and tweaking that, making sure it's right and the concept is right. So yeah, it's a long process to try to get it right. But when we do get it right, and I already said this will be the best year for Dublin City Council's Dublin Winter Lights. Absolutely.
I've seen some teaser images of it already, so we're really, really excited for that this year, I have to say. And is there anything kind of new about the Dublin City Council Dublin Winter Lights this year? I think there are some new locations from what I remember.
Yeah, it's going to be brilliant. So just in total, we've 23 locations, and we've 6, really new, fantastic locations and new initiatives. So I'll give you an example. So Temple Bar Square, Wolftown Square, Hugh Lane. We've an artist competition on Hugh Lane Gallery for the competition. So there's going to be a competition on Hugh Lane to project onto Hugh Lane this year. We have projections in Dublin Castle for the first time ever in relation to, we have a piece of infrastructure coming from Lyon. We were over in Lyon last year for Fête des Luminaires, and it's called the Flux. So it's a touring lighting infrastructure. So we're lucky enough to have it in Dublin Castle this year. And just to set the context, obviously Christmas at the Castle is not happening this year because of the EU presidency. So we took the initiative, Dublin City Council, to produce our own Christmas event and markets in Smithfield called TwinkleTown in partnership with Dublin City Council. But that said, we work closely with the OPW in Dublin Castle to make sure that footfall goes to these iconic buildings, and we're going to produce our Dublin City Council Winter Lights in that particular area. We have our Palace Street projections on the archway to Dublin Castle. We have George's Dock. There's 100 beams of light going to come from George's Dock, and we're K'd, so as the 100K, that's what we're calling it. And we were lucky enough. So a little story to this. Caelan Ryan is a DJ. He produced the music for that piece of light. Cade light going up into George's Dock. He was selected recently to support Fred again, who's a global artist who played in Dublin there just recently, and he does 10 cities in a 10-week tour. He has over 3.6 million followers on Instagram. So Caelan has supported him in those gigs. So it was just lucky enough. That might be he has that music there. It'll be great for us to maybe do a bit of PR around that with Caelan as well. The other thing is Grand Canal Dock. So as you can see from the NFL, we've done a beautiful water projection for the NFL and the teams and Dublin City Council and the Government of Ireland, in the partnership that we had. We're doing a water projection this year on Grand Canal Dock with street dancer Jessie Thompson from Dublin. And Jessie's recorded dance will dance as a projection in Grand Canal Dock.
Wow.
There's some fabulous. But I think the one for us, which I think is going to capture people's imagination, we're pushing a Liffey light boat on the River Liffey, and that will illuminate the walls of the River Liffey and the River Liffey itself, from Houston Station right down to Tom Clark Bridge, and that will go from 3 weekends at the start of December all the way down, back and forth, and illuminate the whole of the River Liffey on our behalf. So it's exciting stuff. So we're really looking forward to it.
Wow, it sounds absolutely amazing. I think that there's so much for people to look forward to. Gosh, I'm like getting excited. I'm already kind of mentally planning my route for visiting the Dublin Winter Lights this year. You mentioned there as well, actually, TwinkleTown in partnership with Dublin City Council. I'd love to move on to that next, because that is something else that's totally new this year. What can you tell the listeners about it?
Yeah, I have to say, we are so excited to bring this to the city. Just as I said earlier, probably a bit of context. Dublin at Christmas at the Castle is not happening this year, so we felt there's going to be a huge vacuum. We had, a Christmas event in Smithfield last year, but this year, Dublin City Council ourselves, we wanted to be, maybe more involved and maybe directed the way we want to direct it, and how it can work for winter in Dublin and our Christmas campaign. So TwinkleTown in partnership with Dublin City Council is going to light up Dublin with Christmas, transforming Smithfield Square into a magical festival wonderland for all ages to enjoy. It'll be a one-stop Christmas experience and a brand new tradition. And this is the thing, we're hoping now this will be a new tradition in the city. We'll have this longevity of this. Come to Smithfield. This will be the place to come for your Christmas markets, for your memories, for your family. So we're hoping to a new tradition of making blending entertainment, culture, and like festive magic for all joy, for everyone to enjoy. So, getting on, the fantastic, and this is part of it, the Santo Panto and the Magic Present Machine will take centre stage alongside a host of your favourite winter attractions, including an ice rink, Ferris wheel, vintage fairground, Christmas market, and a cosy Twinkle Tavern, we're calling it, where you can get a glass of mulled wine or your hot chocolate to enjoy and savour the atmosphere. So, just because we're very much on events, we're a very inclusive city, and we want to be a very inclusive city for all to enjoy. There is relaxed performances of the Santo Panto will take place at 10 a.m. each day to allow the show is live. These sessions can be booked via the website, which is TwinkleTown.ie, and actually each Santo Panto show runs for about 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. So it's an introductory to a panto, and also it's a way and it's for people who may not can afford to bring a whole family to a panto, and maybe it's an introductory to a panto that it's an open. It's €5. It's a fiver to go to the panto each. Go to the panto, enjoy that, and have that memory of being at a panto. And then people then will say they enjoyed it, come, and then obviously they might go on and then go to a bigger pantomime then again themselves. But that's some of the reasons that we and part of the reasons why we would do that. As well as the space, the Spiegel tent not being used for the Santo Panto, it's going to be used as a cultural pop-up space, and we're going to make that available to cultural institutions in the city over 20 nights run up to Christmas, and this shows Dublin City Council's ongoing support for our cultural landscape in the city, providing a much needed platform for our art organisations and our cultural partners in the city as well. So, and also as well, and this is what we do for the city and our people and Dublin City Council, we support the event to bring down the cost of the entertainment on site, for food and drink offerings, and this is very important to us. So we're going to make complimentary tickets available to all the local charities in the area and people who, may not be able to afford to bring or come into the city to enjoy an event like that. So it's a very inclusive event, and nobody will be left out by Dublin City Council, and that's why we're very excited. And also, we're really proud of bringing this new event, TwinkleTown, in partnership with Dublin City Council, to the city.
Absolutely. And it's brilliant, actually, like you said, the Santo Panto, that it is so affordable, €5, 20-minute shows, for kids that, they might struggle to sit down for an hour or more. Just to emphasise, so for the Santo Panto, you should get tickets in advance at twinkletown.ie. But I think for the Spiegel tent, is that just walk-in, or how does it work just in terms of people being able to attend?
So what would happen is that, people have applied to use the tent. So what will happen is the events then will go up on twinkletown.ie. Okay. What's on? Yep. So, that obviously the capacity is only up to 240 in the tent. So it will be first come, first service. First come, first, into the tent. So what will happen is there will be a location on twinkletown.ie to Great. Book that event also, to making sure, because there'll be choirs, there'll be, probably cooking demonstrations, there'll be blue rinse balls, whatever's, we're happy to let them into the tent to do what they have to do.
Yeah, and it's exciting that it'll be a whole variety of shows and entertainment there. So just visit twinkletown.ie to find out more about all of that. And actually also as part of and an extension of TwinkleTown in partnership with Dublin City Council, there will also be the Dublin City Council TwinkleTrail. This is another new initiative. It sounds great. So what does that involve? And it kind of incorporates a number of these locations and events from what I understand.
Yeah, so obviously TwinkleTown in partnership with Dublin City Council, we wanted to animate the rest of the city and parts of the city that we feel that we could animate, and we could, get people to go to parts of the city maybe they don't usually go to. So this year, as part of the Dublin City Council TwinkleTrail, we're actually going to have, lots of lighting up in O'Connell Street. We'll have a beautiful Christmas tree. We'll have a TwinkleTrail photo ops. And most importantly, we'll have our Twinkle Star. So this is a new memory where we're going to have a Twinkle Star. You can stand under the star and get a lovely photograph taken with your loved ones, friends, family, and even by yourself. And that's that memory to make. And that's what we're trying to do. A lot of people went into O'Connell Street and they took their photo under the clock. It was the place to be. But what we're trying to do is establish new areas, new memories. So the Twinkle Star is one of those new photo ops. So O'Connell Street will be a beautiful place to visit with our Dublin City Council Dublin Winter Lights, our TwinkleTrail, and all the illuminations up there. And it'll be a fabulous place to come and enjoy, walk around, take your photos. We'll move on then, and what we'll do then is we'll head up to the Mansion House. Mm-hmm. So TwinkleTrail will move up to the Mansion House. The Mansion House will have all the variety of what it has. It will have an accessible sleigh for people to go in and take their photo ops. And I'll come back to that inclusivity in the city. It will have its live crib. It will have its beautiful tree. It will have its TwinkleTrail as well there. So there are photo ops there again for people to come and enjoy parts of the city. And obviously then, part of that, and Merrion Square this year is going to be out of this world. So we have our Merrion Square in the park. We have new initiatives in there. We have a kaleidoscope, a 360. You'll walk through it. There's beautiful lighting up there as well. And we're working on maybe a 3D concept up there. You put a pair of glasses on, and Santa and the sleigh will fly by and things like that. But also where it'll finish up, and we're trying to drive is into Bernardo Square. We'll have another Twinkle Star in Bernardo Square, where people can take their photo ops there, and that's leading people then into Dublin Castle, where we will have our Dublin City Council Dublin Winter Lights, where we'll have the flux. And this year again, we're going into the coach house, into the back of Dublin Castle. We're going to illuminate the coach house. It's a beautiful space. It's so dark in there, and we're working with an Irish artist to come up with a concept for there. And also we work very closely, and we can't do any of this stuff, and I call it out to all the key stakeholders in the city, particularly on Garda Síochána, which I always say thank you so much to them for supporting Dublin City Council and our events. We will be lighting up the Metropolitan, the station there in the back, with old photographs of the Metropolitan Police and so forth. So that's just our thank you to Garda Síochána and our little bit to the Dublin City Council Winter Lights programme.
Yeah, and so it's all these pop-ups, photo opportunities, just gorgeous spaces to walk around, and it's basically free, isn't it?
It's all free. The only thing for Merrion Square, it's €2. Mm-hmm. So you book your tickets, €2 to go into Merrion Square, because we have to manage numbers going into Merrion Square, and for footfall and so forth. But if you just want to Dublin City Council Dublin Winter Lights, you can book your tickets through there as well for €2 in Merrion Square. So it's affordable. It's €2, and it's a beautiful space. You could spend an hour or so walking around there as part of the TwinkleTrail.
Absolutely. Tony, I think that you have gotten us all into the Christmas spirit, teasing us about everything that is to come this year. Is there anything else you'd like listeners to know as they head into Dublin City this festive season about everything that's on? Yeah,
I think I've got most things in, but very important. So as part of the Dublin City Council Dublin Winter Lights 2020, Dublin City Council would like to invite children to take part in an exciting winter art competition. The winning artworks will be projected on Bernardo Square on Dame Street and on the Dublin City Council Winter Lights website during the month of December. The top 3 entries, which is so exciting, will also be awarded a prize by the Lord Mayor of Dublin, Councillor Ray McAdam, with those designs used as the Lord Mayor's official Christmas card for 2025. It's a great event. And everyone that participates will put all their entries up on Bernardo Square for projection. So families, friends, and they come in and look at their child's Christmas card up on Bernardo Square. And also, all I would say then is that, and entries are open now, and the date is, and I think entries close on the 8th. I think it's the 18th or the 25th of November. It's in around that. But just look at the website. I'll get the proper dates. But what I'd say to people, come in, enjoy Dublin City. Christmas is going to be so exciting in the city, and make new memories. And that's what I'm telling people to do. Come and enjoy the atmosphere.
Brilliant, brilliant. I think we can leave it there, Tony. Thank you so much for talking to us today about Christmas in Dublin City. Loads for residents and visitors to enjoy. And if listeners want to find out anything more about Christmas events, you can visit dublinCity.ie, also dublinCity.ie/Christmas or dublin.ie. Tony, we'll have to have you in again to talk about events because there's just so much going on in your department. But for now, thank you so much for coming in and happy Christmas.
Deirdre, happy Christmas, have a great Christmas and enjoy Dublin City, and I'm glad you didn't ask me to sing.
And thanks again to today's guest, Tony Smithers. I'd also like to extend my thanks to our audio engineer and editor, Robert Fay. This podcast was produced by myself, Deirdre Malumbi, and Michael Ryan, and recorded in the Central Library Studio. Be sure to spread the word if you're enjoying What's the Story Dublin, and to like and subscribe for future episodes. Slán go fóill.